Hi, I'm Dr. Abby Mullen, and I'm so glad that you have chosen to take this class, History 390, with me this semester. It's going to be an adventure. Before we get into any of the nuts and bolts of what we're going to be doing, I want to break it down. What is this class about? So to figure that out, we're going to literally break it down. This class is called The Digital Past, War in the Antebellum United States. So let's take it one word at a time. First, digital. What does that mean? Well, it can mean a lot of different things. It encompasses everything from the physical object that creates a digital environment, like a computer or a tablet or a smartphone, to the basic code that runs the computer, like ones and zeros, to the more complex tasks that we ask our computing devices to do for us on a daily basis, like check the weather or make a map. In this class, we're going to be focusing on those more complex tasks. So don't worry, you don't need to understand ones and zeros. But you do need to understand that digital things are real, and they have real-world applications and real-world consequences. We'll be talking about the application of the digital to both our present moment and to our understanding of the past. The past, that's our next word. What is the past? That's a trickier question than it seems. The past is different for everyone. No one person has the same perceptions or perspective on the past as other people. So there's no one true past that we can look back to. Most of you aren't history majors and have no aspirations to be historians, and that's totally okay. But in this class, we're going to learn a little bit about how to think like a historian and tell stories about the past that draw conclusions based on the evidence available to us. But we're also going to think about why we have the evidence that we have, how to make legitimate inferences from that evidence, and then how to present our evidence in a compelling way in a digital form. But we can't talk about the whole past in this class, so we're just going to focus on one area of the past, and that is what our remaining words are all about. War! Why are we talking about war? Well, for starters, I'm a military historian. I study the First Barbary War. If you don't know what that is, don't worry, you will by the end of the semester. The strictest definition of war is a conflict between two groups that starts with official declarations and ends with a peace treaty. But that's not really how most wars get fought, either in the past or in the present. So when we talk about war, we're going to encompass unofficial wars, military actions, and other ways in which the government uses force. But war is still too big of a topic. We can't cover all the wars. So we're going to narrow it down even further to antebellum. You may have heard this term recently when a prominent country music group decided to remove the term from its name. But antebellum simply means before the war. And the war in question is the Civil War. In the United States, antebellum almost always means before the Civil War. We will talk about the Civil War, but most of our time we'll focus on the wars before that, starting with the American Revolution. And finally, the term that perhaps you think you know the best, United States. But in our period, the United States changes dramatically in land, in people, in ideology, in economy, and really at no point in our period is the United States particularly united. Wars tend to be highly divisive, and they fractured the United States in ways that persist until today. So where does that leave us? This course is divided into two parts, the digital part and the history part. And we'll go back and forth in talking about them week by week. But these two will work together in conversation with each other. We'll learn about how to do history digitally, and you'll be creating your own digital works of historical analysis. Don't worry, I'll help you. I know that this class is scary for some of you. For some of you, this class is just checking off the box for your Mason Core IT requirement. I understand. But I hope that you'll give yourself a chance to think something new, to learn something new, and to think about how to use digital tools and how to think critically about the digital past and the digital present. I can't wait to get started.